Hey guys, welcome back. Building Big with City Skylines, episode 41. I'm Enigmas, and today we're building big with City Skylines. We've been pretty busy since the last episode, just kind of making a mess of everything that we possibly can. This guy is no more room, so we're gonna empty him out. We had kind of an issue with our cemeteries very briefly. They were full, or they were set to empty, and they were empty, and I hadn't done, and it was there. Just there's an abandoned house in the river. There's not, but it looked like there was for a second there. We're actually doing pretty good, I think. Overall, we're growing. We have reasonable demand for industry or offices and commercial, and a little bit of demand for residential. This area over here is filled in really nicely. I've noticed. I wanted that kind of you know, metropolis on the beach, sort of Miami kind of thing, and that's exactly what we've got. We've got all kinds of shiny high-rises right on the beach, and we haven't really done anything to mar the beach either. There could be people all over here, you know, getting nice and toasty before they get eaten by sharks. It's basically paradise, even if they don't realize it. I bought another piece of land. I bought this one, which, as you can see, is giving us a lot of usable land, which is kind of the thing, because we've got some bits of land like this one here. Almost half of it is water, and this one as well is kind of a big chunk water, and then the sand, of course, that we choose not to use. So this time around, I wanted to give ourselves as much opportunity to take advantage of this space as possible, giving us the chance for the highest population that we can get without getting like super crazy about min-maxing everything. I made some changes to the airport, specifically changed the roads around a little bit so that with the extra land over here, you can see this is where it was before, we didn't have access to this section of the highway where we could bring our highway in and connect it. So we had to do some crazy things with our airport and the roads around it, and you can see now we've got, still, if we're lucky, we'll clip some airplane tails off with this highway here. But the key thing being, we're doing our best to accommodate the extra traffic that the airport might generate early on before we have a chance to create any problems. Now, what I've been experimenting with over here is, we're going to pause it, because otherwise I have a feeling people are going to start to get a little bit cranky with me because of the demand. I've been experimenting with hybrid city blocks, and I guess the easiest way to kind of show that might be sort of like this one here. Like you can see, high density residential, high density commercial, and office all basically right next to one another. This guy is kind of off in the back somewhere. He's not actually connected to a road anywhere, so I'm not too concerned about expanding. I don't know. It's just one of those things. But because of the nature of the demand that we were seeing for industrial or offices and commercial and residential, I decided to just give it a shot and see what we would end up with, and it seemed to work really, really well. And this is actually the third time I'll be making a reasonable sized expansion based on that sort of idea, and I decided that now might be a good time to kind of bring this around, like just make the connection, get the whatever we can in here, so that the power and all the services and things like that connect around this way. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do the mixed bag of things. We're going to do some high density residential, not a lot, because the demand is not really all that great right now, and also because we're going to be running commercial along here, and the offices as well, just kind of, they're by the poo pond. Not everybody wants to hang out beside a great big pool of poo. So we're going to make sure that we're not setting ourselves up for failure with the residential stuff. But here we can go around and kind of, I'm not necessarily thinking that it needs to be particularly uniform, but it just ends up, whenever I go to place things like this, it kind of works that way in the back of my mind. So we're going to specifically go out of my way to not do that. There we go. It's not uniform. And then we'll take the office buildings. We'll put the office buildings on this side, and we'll put one in there, kind of like that. And be a little bit thoughtful, I think, about expanding too much too soon, zoning too much, and not really having the demand for it, even though it looks like we might. Let's just put a bunch of wee little commercial buildings around here because they'll fit. That's the only reason. This might end up not surviving the next time we have to put in a sewage treatment plant. We're not going to comment on the viability of restaurants right next to the sewage treatment plants. I think we can all kind of figure out for ourselves how that's going to go. And check this out. If we're really super lucky, when these grow buildings, it'll level the land and flood this whole area. That could be a thing. It really could, actually. I think we're pretty safe, but I'd be a little disappointed. Especially having called it. You know, it's not like I can't say I didn't know it was coming. And this guy will do some more offices along here. And yeah, that's okay for the timing. So let's see what it wants to do with this. We have power for the most part, I think, but if all of this kind of fills out, they're close enough together that we'll have power all the way out to this part here, and then these might get a little bit of power from this area over here. I also added another solar power plant here. So that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4 solar power plants. This whole thing was such a disappointment. It was such a waste. But we put it in, and it's there, and it's producing a little bit of power, just not nearly as much as I might have thought. When I originally started messing around with this before I put it in, I didn't really quite understand the whole dynamic of how you placed it. So what I had ended up actually doing was placing a bunch of little individual hydro dams, which was generating a lot of power, but it was also outrageously expensive because each one costs something like $3,000 a week to maintain, and I had like 10 of them. So that was kind of a disappointment when I had to pull it all down. So with the one, we don't have to pay nearly so much for the maintenance, but it's not producing a whole lot of power either. I think if we had mucked about a little bit before we had placed it and made sure that we were going to have a fairly significant height for the water on the back and quite low on the front, we would have been much better off. But we didn't quite pre-plan it to that extent. So you can see now the commercial demand has basically gone to hell, which is fine. The industrial/office demand is holding steady, even though we provided a certain amount of office space for people to grow into. And the residential demand is also, actually it seems a little bit up from where it was when we first started, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Quite often the residential kind of, well, I mean, it's fairly straightforward that just in concept that the residential fluctuates based on what's going on with the industrial and the office. It's kind of interesting to try and wrap a person's head around it, just for the sake of predicting what might happen next, because I'm always wrong. Every time I try and predict, I'm wrong. It seems like we've got good surface coverage, because some of these buildings are popping up kind of half-leveled already. But we still want to keep an eye on things and not put ourselves in a position where all of these guys start getting abandoned as people start expanding out here. You see we've got some office going on over there. I feel like maybe that looks like an intersection, and I'm not so sure I like the idea of that intersection being there, but what we can't look, do you see that guy tried to, right as soon as we were about to place our road connecting these two, he goes and pops up. That was just not nice. You brought that on yourself. We'll just put a couple like that. We've got this power line running through here that I don't really think is necessary anymore. No, I think we can leave it there and pull out these two guys here. That guy and that guy. Because this is the power that's feeding from here to the cargo terminal. Look at all the... Let's get rid of this. Look at all the boats in the cargo terminal. Oh, wow. We just... And all the vehicles, too. They kind of go in and they just sit there for a few days. And then they all go out at the exact same time. That's good that I caught that. Because I'd seen a bunch of ships headed this way previously and wondered what's going to have to, like, they sit in the harbor or something, waiting for an opportunity to dock. But no, apparently they just all dock in the same spot and then they all leave at the same time. Great big cargo ship family. Still pretty high demand for industrial / office. So we'll do a little bit of this. We'll kind of provide a little bit of what they're asking for. And along with that, actually, you know what, we're going to do like that. And hopefully that guy will kind of grow into there a little bit better. We'll do a couple guys like that. A little bit like that. We can check on the usual suspects. Look at this, see? They're all mad because they don't have anywhere to go and play. So we will we'll do our best to accommodate them a large playground. Park with trees. That sounds like fun. Great big one right there. Right where they were building that new building. They asked for it. And a little one. We'll put one right here. That ought to work. And they seem much happier already. These people are just very angry that they don't have access to this park here, apparently. Even though we've got really good bus coverage in this area. Like really nice, clean, tidy bus routes to get everyone where they need to go. And also, we expanded the bus routes not only into this area, but also into the areas that we haven't even zoned yet, so that it's done. When we want to zone them, we can just zone them. We don't have to worry about setting up the bus routes. But these guys, with their complaining about no parks, that's heartbreaking. Makes me so sad. We're gonna put police there, fire there. I had a lot of problems over here with, see, still with the fires. The frustrating thing is, here's the fire, here's a fire station, here's a fire station. What's the hang up? I don't know. Traffic, maybe, is the problem. But this is another area where I've been spending a lot of time, is trying to smooth the flow of traffic, specifically up here around our train station. It's a lot better than it was, and this is a pretty good view to let you see it. A lot fewer basically bumper-to-bumper situations. There is still some congestion. We've said this so many times before. There's still some congestion, but it looks okay. And then the next episode, we're back saying, yeah, it was no good. We had to change some things. This time around, it seems to be doing okay. We've got so many bypasses and so many ways for traffic to get around this if they don't want to go to the train station. Really, if we're having congestion now, it's because there's just a lot of vehicles that want to go to the train station, and you can see them going in and out there. Down here, it's like there's a log jam trying to get out, and then all these guys driving in. You kind of wonder where they actually go when they drive in like that, because they're not driving out quite that fast. What else do we need to check? We've got, we'll put a clinic down here. Oh, or will we? Did we use up all our space? Nope, we're good. Put a clinic there and a crematorium. We can't put the crematorium next to the clinic, as we are often apt to do. So we'll put it there. Everyone's so happy. Hooray! Crematorium. You don't get it, do you? Elementary school, because these people are saying we can't get our kids to school, so we have to find a way to accommodate them. A little bit like that. And will it reach far enough? Not quite. Not quite, but these guys can go to work in the industrial area. That's listen to all the binging and the bonging going on now. That's really all we did, was we put in a school and some services, and now everybody's going crazy. Oh, and a great big park. We can't forget the great big park. I kind of think I want to have a bunch of concentric sort of circle-ish things coming down around this way, just to kind of mirror what we've got going here so far. And then this will be a continuation of our hybrid residential, commercial, industrial / offices all in one area kind of thing. But for now, look at that. The commercial demand is up again. The residential demand is up. This guy is mad because he didn't get all of the tiles that he was expecting, but we just kind of fixed that a little bit for him. Offices by the crematorium. That's always a good place, just to remind people, you know, every day you spend working here is a day closer to the crematorium. Yay, you! And we'll just kind of bring it around like so. Seems to be working all right so far. And that, and we'll put some of that and that. Another great big commercial thing there. These sections of road, these ones here and these ones there, I don't know how well it'll show up on the video, but they're actually bridges. They're elevated above the ground, which is why we can't zone anything next to them. But I kind of like them that way. I don't know why. I can't describe exactly what it is I like about them, but I just like them. So we're going to leave them like that for now. We're just going to keep an eye on this for a little bit longer and see. The buildings are upgrading. They're growing. They seem to be prospering. I love that the scaffolds went like 2.5 times the height of this building. And then they just all come down, and it took forever to start the reveal of the building itself. This was a custom on-demand traffic circle. It turned out not too bad. It actually looks kind of like a circle for once that we made, just again using a highway and trying to get as much traffic onto the traffic circle at a time as we can, so that when things do back up, which they probably will start to in the not too distant future, at least they've got a certain amount of space to kind of fan out and spread out and not get too messed up. Got a lot of traffic coming in from the highway over here, and also a lot of it is coming from the cargo harbor heading back in this way. And then down here, I feel at some point we're going to have to add a second bridge here, because right now this is 6 lanes two-way, but even over here where we've got 2-3 lanes, it just fills up so fast. Like even now they're saying that they can't move because they're just congested all the way back here. Again, there's so many bypasses, and we're out of ways to bypass them. And it's this thing up here that is kind of the failure. This is provided for us. We can't even build over there yet. This is the line. But it's just so congested. We might have to actually buy that chunk of land just so that we can get in there and fix that. Otherwise, we're going to end up having to bypass this whole area here and not using this highway, or at least giving people another highway to get through, because that's just terrible. That's not very good at all. So what are we left with? Demand is continuing. The city is not growing super fast, but every once in a while we get nice little spikes of growth, and we can kind of watch things happen, and then it reaches a plateau, and then we take our time putting things in place without pausing it, and we lose a bunch of people and it comes back. So we're going to have to be a little bit careful about that, kind of pausing things when we're zoning, and especially when we're doing the more detailed zoning things, running roads and stuff like that, so that we don't slip in population and end up with a bunch of abandoned buildings. I think for the next episode, I'll start putting in some of the roads to do our little circle thing, and it's going to require working on this side of the traffic circle just to make sure everything is tidy and hopefully working as well as we can get them. And then the next episode will continue growing. There's some unique buildings that we need to place as well. We'll just take a quick look. I think there's only one that we have access to now, and oh, here it is, the Grand Mall. We can place the Grand Mall. That's very nice. And it's the last requirement, I think, for building the space elevator. So we should be able to build the space elevator after we do that. We also have the Opera House, and that's it. So we've got 2 unique buildings we can place, one of which might unlock the space elevator. And we'll look at that. We'll look at what it's going to require to get those in place at the very least in the next episode. If we don't place them, which would be ideal, if we don't place them, we'll at least look at what we need to get them placed. And then we'll do the expansion here to get the people and the expansion of the population and all those other good things that unlock more good things. it's telling us where it wants us to put all this stuff. And I'm not sure this is the best suggestion. You get the idea. So if you want to be notified when I add the next episode, of course, you can always subscribe to my channel or follow me on social media. Links for social media are always in the information box below the video. Feel free to leave your comments and feedback. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.